My name is Deidrea McCray, and we will be discussing the traditional and online teaching models. In this presentation, we will discuss the similarities and differences between traditional and online learning models. We will discuss the advantages and disadvantages of each model. We will apply adult learning theories to each model, and we will discuss how to effectively present instruction in each model. Let's begin by discussing the similarities and differences of the traditional and online learning models. To begin, both the traditional and online learning model involve a classroom setting with students and an instructor. In both settings, communication is important. Giving and receiving feedback is very important for the success of both the students and the classroom setting itself. As for the differences, traditional learning models consist of courses with little to no technology use. Content is usually delivered in writing or orally. The online learning model consists of courses in which most, if not all, content is delivered online. There is usually no face-to-face meetings. Traditional learning models usually consist of specific scheduling, but the online learning models have many scheduling flexibilities and allows the learner to be present in the classroom setting anytime, anywhere. Let's continue by discussing the advantages and disadvantages of the online and traditional teaching models. Let's begin with the online teaching model. Online learning has created many advantages for adult education. 6.4 million students take at least one distant education course. This represents 32% of all higher education enrollments. Now let's continue by discussing the advantages of online learning. Accessibility is one of the advantages of online learning. This allows students to connect with the classroom setting anytime, anywhere. Efficiency is another advantage of this model. Instructors are able to deliver instruction through videos, presentations, and also the use of textbooks. These tools allow the instructor to deliver their instruction more efficiently. As a future biology instructor, these tools will be essential in conducting instruction and help me to lead a successful class. Some disadvantages of the online learning model are issues with technology and the inability to focus on screen for long periods of time. This inability allows students to be easily distracted by outside distractions such as TV and the cell phone. Now let's turn to the traditional learning model. One advantage of the traditional learning model is that students are able to have a face-to-face classroom setting. They also learn to work under pressure due to the amount of time and the assignments given in this model. This prepares them for the pressure of the workforce. Some disadvantages of the traditional learning model are the additional costs, such as commuting, accommodations, and equipment that are not seen with the online learning model. Students who are introverts may also feel uncomfortable in the traditional learning model, and they may not feel as comfortable answering questions and speaking in public settings. Online allows them to speak freely. An advantage of the traditional learning model that's a disadvantage for the online learning models for a future biology professor, lab sessions are essential. This is usually provided in a traditional setting, but not an online setting. Let's continue by applying adult learning theories to these models. Let's begin by discussing McCluskey's theory of margin. This theory focuses on adulthood as a time of growth, change, and integration. During this time, an adult has to find a balance of energy needed for learning and the amount of energy available to them. In this model, it also focuses on the constant need for learning due to the ongoing changes of society. In the traditional teaching model, more time and energy are required, and the adult learner has to find a balance between both in order to be successful. Both the traditional and online teaching models represent the adult's learner need for continuous education in order to keep up with society. Let's now focus on Knowles andragogy. This theory focuses on the elements of the learner's life, work, family, and community. It believes that an adult gains an increased amount of experiences through the various elements of life. In the online teaching model, it recognizes the different elements of the adult life and creates a learning environment to accommodate this. The flexibility to online learning allows the adult learner to obtain an education while continuing the duties of life. This model, the student can also use this model and take the lessons learned from the traditional learning setting and apply it. They can take the lessons they learned from the traditional learning and apply it to the online setting in order to be successful students. We can also talk about transformative learning. Transformative learning occurs when there is a transformation in a belief, attitude, or an entire perspective. Both online and traditional learning models allows learners to practice recognizing frames of reference, and they are able to then use their imagination to redefine the problem from a different perspective. In order to effectively present instruction in both the online and traditional learning teaching model, open communication should be allowed between both student and instructor. This will develop a relationship that allows the students to be successful and the instructor to gain knowledge of how to guide the classroom setting. An environment of mutual respect should also be created between student and instructor. This allows the students to be active participants in the classroom setting. This also allows the students to be interactive in the discussion and even give suggestions when needed. But the students should also allow the instructor to conduct the classroom in the way that they desire that accommodates all students.